Here at home, Trade Union Solidarity has declared a dispute with Eskom after the power utility failed to turn up for further wage negotiations. Eskom is refusing a salary increase for its workers. The National Union of Mineworkers and the National Union of Metals, South Africa, that's NUMSA, are threatening to embark on a one-day shutdown on Thursday. Our reporter, Heidi Giokos, the business reporter, is following that story for us since the last few days. Heidi, good morning, and thank you very much. What should we expect to happen today? It looks like Eskom is saying no can do. We don't have money. We can't pay a salary increase this year. The unions are not happy.
Well, Eskom is in a very difficult position because obviously they want to give their workers a salary increase, but they just don't have the money to do so. Eskom is in a lot of debt at the moment. It's about 360 billion rand. So they can't afford to pay workers, give workers an increase. So obviously unions are very upset about this. Yesterday we spoke to the National Union of Mineworkers. Together with the National Union of Metalworkers, they are going to be holding a press briefing today at around 11 o'clock. And this will be, details about their one-day shutdown on Thursday. You must remember that Eskom workers cannot strike because they are deemed as an essential service. So legally, they are not allowed to go on strike. So obviously now unions are trying to find a way to put pressure on Eskom to consider. They are asking for a 15% increase, and Eskom is not even giving 1% increase. So at the moment, unions are trying to put as much pressure on Eskom to try and get them to meet their demands.
Normally, these negotiations don't just happen in one day. They start after some time, and Eskom has been at pains to explain everything. And now, if they can't strike, the workers can strike. What are their options if it's an essential service and they are saying now they want to shut down? I mean, can they really do that?
Well, it will probably be an illegal shutdown because Eskom has the right to, dismiss workers if they don't come to work. And I think that's what we're going to get some clarity on today from unions as to how they're going to go about this, because they're going to put workers in a very difficult position if they say, okay, well, let's go on strike, because they can't. They are an essential service, so they're not allowed to. So that's why they're probably just planning this march for one day to, try and get pressure and trying to put pressure on Eskom to give them what they want.
Yeah, I mean, one on the other hand can sympathize with the workers and say, we didn't cause this big debt. It was the top management that earn big salaries who messed things up at Eskom. We workers on the ground, we're busy doing our job. So why should we now pay the price of this huge debt and the mismanagement at the top level at Eskom?
And that's exactly what the NUM is saying. They're saying that their workers have been with Eskom from day one, when things were good and now when things are bad. And they're saying that they should not be, at the center of, just because Eskom is not doing well, now they must suffer, and they mustn't get any increase. And, we must pay attention to the fact that the economy is not doing well as well. So Eskom has not even offered an inflation increase for its workers. So, I mean, the unions have actually said this is basically a decrease for workers because everything is going up, but your salary is staying the same. So they're literally seeing it as a decrease.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all indicators. VAT has gone up, and of course we have a higher tax that we're paying now. Petrol is going up, so you can imagine it's going to be a tough one. Eskom, to be fair to them, at the top level, they didn't pay bonuses. I think a few weeks ago, Dr. Jabu Mabuza, the chairperson, said there'll be no bonuses paid to any top management at Eskom. Is the top management as well not getting salary increase from what you know?
I think it's across the board. No increases are happening across the board. And, Eskom is trying to cut costs across everywhere. They're trying to make sure that they return to profitability. And, a lot of the unions were saying that, Eskom has not managed its money properly. Also, they've been at the heart of corruption, a lot of corruption scandals. So the unions are saying that they should try and also get their money back from municipalities, because a number of municipalities have also defaulted on payments to Eskom, which has also contributed to the amount of debt that Eskom finds itself in. So Eskom can't afford to pay any increases at the moment across the board, no bonuses. And the unions are also asking for housing allowance, and Eskom is saying, but we can't even give you an increase. How are we going to give you a housing allowance?
So who's speaking today? Who's briefing the media today?
It's the National Union of Mineworkers together with the National Union of Metalworkers. They will be briefing the media about Thursday's today's one-day shutdown.
Are they going to be in one briefing?
In one briefing, surprisingly.
Because NUM belongs to COSATU and NUMSA belongs to SAFTU. I'm just
yes.
checking.
Yes, no, it's surprising. It's also quite shocking to see that the two unions are coming together. But they will be coming together to host a briefing about what they plan to do on Thursday. Trade Union Solidarity is not part of this. They were invited to the briefing and to the meeting that was held yesterday, but they have decided not to be a part of this. They tried to have further wage negotiations with Eskom yesterday. Eskom did not pitch. So they are now sending out memorandums to Eskom this week.
Yeah, Eskom is in a tight bind. I'm hoping there will be some good sense prevailing there on all sides. Thank you very much. That's Heidi Giokos, our business reporter, on the trials and tribulations of Eskom workers there across the board face